What's going on, y'all? My name is Enoch. I'm here to inspire, motivate, and encourage you to be the best version of you that you could possibly be. I know that ain't an easy task, but let's go. Welcome back to Divine Motivation Podcast. I really appreciate you tuning in. I do not take your time for granted. I say that every time because I actually mean that. Thank you for being here. If you like this video, follow the YouTube, subscribe, Divine Motivation Podcast. Share the video. If I say something that you like that was kind of catchy, send it to a friend. They might like it. I mean, don't be selfish. Don't be hoarding these episodes to yourself. That's selfish. You know what I'm saying? Like, show some love. Follow the Instagram, Divine Motivation _ where I literally give you motivation every single morning. And we're on Anchor app, iTunes, Spotify. Look for it. It's there. Now let's get into the episode. Okay. So for a minute, I just keep hearing phrases and I just like talking about them. So here's one phrase I want to talk about. Now, go back to the last episode. We talked about, starting. I'm going to keep saying that until the year's over. If you're planning on doing something, start. You don't need to wait for January. Don't wait for January. Start now. I recently did something that I could have waited, but I did. It's possible. Just do it. That's a disclaimer I'm going to say every episode until the year's over. All right. So we all heard the phrase, actually two phrases. We all heard the phrase, it's a minor setback for a major comeback. Y'all already know it. Minor setback for a major comeback. Or the other one that kind of goes with that one is, what don't kill you makes you stronger. You already know. So I want to talk about that for a second. And we always say, I'm big on not just saying stuff, saying these cliche phrases, but actually taking the dive into it and really looking at it for what it's really saying. So if we say something happened, you're starting something, you're starting your business, or there's some things you're trying to do, some goals that you set, that you're trying to achieve, some things that you're trying to do, right? And then something happens, right? And it just sets you back, and things are not going as planned. We usually go, it didn't work out, but it's a minor setback for a major comeback, right? But is it? Is it really? You can say, yeah, it is. But it's only, they don't put this disclaimer in, and that's what I want to talk about because nobody really goes into depth about it. They don't put the disclaimer in. It's only a minor setback for a major comeback if you learned from the setback. That's the key. There is no major comeback if you didn't learn from the setback. So all these things, what don't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah. But what did you learn from the situation? What did you learn from the setback? Because if you continually do the same thing that caused the first setback, you're constantly be in setback mode. And I think that's what happens to a lot of people. And they never accomplish or fully walk into what they're called to do or what they're trying to be or the goals they're trying to accomplish because we keep getting in these setback modes and just constantly saying all right, another setback, minor setback for a major comeback. But is it though? Because a lot of times we do these things to ourselves and we always blame other people until you start being accountable. That's one thing I'm really big on. Accountability. Until you start being accountable for what you did, your actions and everything, even if it was quote unquote somebody's fault. Look at what you did that you could have done differently. What could you have done differently to kind of understand the situation a little better. And this goes in every area, no matter what it is. If it's in school, if it's in, like, you failed your class, like you failed your test, or you been late to work so much, you got fired, like your business didn't flourish. The setback. Okay, now let's look at the setback. Okay, let me analyze the setback. What went wrong? That's where you got to start. What went wrong? How could I have prevented that? A lot of times we're not willing to look at ourselves and say, like, yeah, that was my fault. And that's ego, pride. Like, I get it. Nobody wants to feel like it's their fault. Like, I get it. So I ain't even tripping on nobody that's done that. Like, I get it. Nobody wants to be like, yo, it's my fault, I've ruined it. And genuinely mean, like, yo, I messed up. But once you're able to do that, that's how you build for that major comeback. There is no major comeback from that setback if you don't look at yourself. There is no major comeback from that setback if you don't make the changes. If you don't look at what you did wrong. If you don't look at what you could have did better. Yes, you can come back. You can come back from anything. We love the comeback story, right? And why do we love it? Because they were set back and they worked. They worked. That's what makes a comeback story great, because they worked to come back. The reason we love the comeback stories because we saw where they were. Something happened. And we're like, oh man, you feel bad for them. And then you just see them work their way back. And then it becomes stronger. Like, and I don't even, when I'm thinking about it now, the major comeback, I don't even think it's major as in the accomplishment. I think it's major as in, like, you were down, but you worked yourself back to continually go, to keep pushing, to keep driving, even though you're not where you thought you would be. For me, that's the major comeback. Just imagine you start something and it just blows up, crashes. It just did not work out. You know how hard it is to come back from that? Even if you didn't accomplish the goal. How hard is it to come back from what you started? That's the major comeback. That's what's building you. That's part of the journey. That's what's making you, that's what's preparing you for when you get to that place or that goal that you're actually trying to reach. So don't just look at the major comeback as you actually accomplishing the goal. Look at the comeback as, yo, I'm still going. I got set back, but I'm still going. I made it past another level. I got stronger. I learned from that setback. We all have setbacks. It happens. But it's how you respond to it, not how you react. Now, oh no, everything's hitting the fan. What do we do now? No, how you respond to it. That's what the comeback, that's why we love the comeback story. When someone is set back and they work their way back up, and they get to another level, or even the level that they were at, and they're stronger when they get there, that's the beauty in it. That's the beauty in it. So remember, let your minor setback be a major comeback. Appreciate y'all. That's the episode this week. I will see you again next week. Remember, like, subscribe, follow, share. Follow the Instagram, Divine Motivation _. Subscribe to the YouTube, Divine Motivation Podcast. And let's do this next week. Appreciate y'all.